They see you today and they think you got lucky. They see the results, but they never saw the years. They see the wins, but they missed every single day you showed up when nobody was watching. Consistency is not sexy. Consistency is not going to get you on the highlight reel today or tomorrow or next week. Consistency is the most boring advantage you could ever have, and that is exactly why most people will never have it. Everyone wants to be great, but nobody wants to do the same thing every single day for 5 years straight. Nobody wants to wake up and do the thing when it stopped being fun 2 years ago. Nobody wants to keep showing up when the initial excitement wore off and all that's left is the work. That's where you win. That's where you separate yourself from everyone who talks about it. I look around and I see people who work hard for 3 months and expect the world to change. I see people who show up for 6 months and when nothing happens they say it doesn't work. You know what I tell them? You didn't even get started. You didn't even make it past the entry point. You didn't even get to the part where it counts. 3 months is nothing. 6 months is nothing. People out here thinking they deserve something because they did the work for a few months. That's not how this works. You want to know what consistency really is? Consistency is waking up on day 437 and doing the exact same thing you did on day 1, even though you're tired of it. Consistency is showing up on day 891 when you've seen 0 results and doing it anyway. Consistency is year 3 when everyone has forgotten about you and moved on to the next person and you're still in the gym. You're still writing. You're still building. You're still going. That's consistency. It's not a month. It's not a season. It's years of the same thing over and over and over until the world has no choice but to notice you. The reason most people fail is simple. They quit. They quit because they don't see results fast enough. They quit because it gets hard. They quit because they get bored. They quit because something else looks more interesting. They quit because their friends don't support them. They quit because they're tired. They have a million reasons to quit, and every single one of those reasons sounds good in the moment. But let me tell you something about quitting. When you quit, you guarantee you'll never make it. When you keep going, you might make it. Those are your only 2 options. I've been doing this for years, and I've seen thousands of people come and go. They start with all this energy and passion, and they're going to change the world, and 6 months later, they're gone. Where did they go? They went back to being average. They went back to comfort. They went back to doing what everyone else does because being consistent was too hard. Being consistent required too much of them. Being consistent meant they had to show up when they didn't feel like it, and they weren't willing to do that. Here's what nobody tells you about consistency. It's not about motivation. Motivation is going to leave you. Motivation is going to disappear after the first month, and you're going to be left with nothing but discipline. You're going to have to show up when you don't want to. You're going to have to do the work when it's not fun anymore. You're going to have to keep going when every part of you wants to quit. That's where you find out who you really are. I remember when I first started this journey, I was full of energy. I was excited. I couldn't wait to get after it every single day. You know how long that lasted? Maybe 3 months. After that, it became work. It became a grind. It became something I had to force myself to do. And that's when I learned the most important lesson of my life. The people who make it are not the people who are motivated. The people who make it are the people who show up anyway. Every single day for years I did the same thing. Same routine, same work, same grind. Day after day after day after day. People would ask me, how do you do it? How do you keep going? I don't have some secret. I don't have some special power. I just refuse to stop. That's it. That's the whole secret. I refuse to stop. I refuse to quit. I refuse to give up, no matter how bad it gets. You know what happens when you're consistent for years? You outlast everyone. You outlast all the talented people who didn't want to work. You outlast all the motivated people who lost their motivation. You outlast all the people who had better opportunities than you. You outlast them all because they stopped and you didn't. Being the last one standing is the whole game. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the smartest. You just have to be the one who refuses to quit. I've watched people with more talent than me quit. I've watched people with more money than me quit. I've watched people with more support than me quit. They all had advantages I didn't have and they still quit. Why? Because they didn't have the one thing that matters most. They didn't have the ability to be consistent when it sucked. They could be consistent when it was fun. They could be consistent when people were cheering them on. But when it got hard and boring and nobody cared anymore, they couldn't do it. That's the difference. Consistency is showing up on the days when you have every reason not to. It's showing up when you're tired. It's showing up when you're sick. It's showing up when nobody believes in you anymore. It's showing up when you don't believe in yourself anymore. It's showing up when the results aren't there. It's showing up when it feels pointless. Those are the days that count. Those are the days that separate you from everyone else. Most people, they work hard when things are going well. They work hard when they're getting positive feedback. They work hard when people are watching. But what do you do when nobody's watching? What do you do when things are falling apart? What do you do when you've been working for 2 years and you have nothing to show for it? That's when you find out what you're made of. I'll tell you what I do. I keep going. I don't care if it's working or not. I don't care if I see results or not. I don't care if anyone notices or not. I show up and I do the work because that's who I am. I'm not the person who quits. I'm not the person who gives up. I'm the person who keeps going no matter what. And if you want to be successful, you need to become that person too. People always want to know the secret. They want to know the shortcut. They want to know the hack that's going to get them there faster. There is no secret. There is no shortcut. There is no hack. There's just years of showing up and doing the work. That's it. That's the whole thing. Show up every day for years and you'll get there. Miss days and make excuses and you won't. It's that simple. You know what the sad part is? Most people already know this. Deep down, they know that consistency is the answer. They know that if they just showed up every day for 5 years, they'd be exactly where they want to be. But they don't want to hear that. They don't want it to take 5 years. They want it to take 5 months. They want it to take 5 weeks. They want it now. And because they can't have it now, they quit. I see it all the time. Someone starts a business and after 6 months, they're like, it's not working. 6 months. You want to build something real and you think 6 months is enough time to know if it's working. That's insane. 6 months is nothing. 6 months is barely enough time to figure out what you're doing. 6 months is the very beginning. But people want results so fast that they quit before they even give themselves a real chance. Here's what I wish someone had told me when I started. I wish someone had told me that year 1 doesn't matter. Year 2 doesn't matter. Year 3 is when things start to happen. Year 4 is when people start to notice. Year 5 is when you start to see real results. If someone had told me that, I would have saved myself so much frustration. But nobody tells you that because everyone is selling you the dream of getting rich quick and changing your life in 90 days. The truth is boring. The truth is you're going to work hard for years and see almost nothing. You're going to question yourself. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to wonder if you're wasting your time. And then one day around year 3 or 4, things start to click. Things start to work. Things start to compound. And by year 5, you're in a completely different place than where you started. But you only get there if you don't quit in year 1 or 2. Consistency is the price you pay for success. You want success? Fine. Pay the price. Show up every single day for years. Do the boring work. Do the work nobody sees. Do the work that doesn't get you any credit. Do it anyway. Do it because you said you would. Do it because you're building something. Do it because you refuse to be average. I'm so tired of hearing people complain about not getting results. You've been at it for 2 months and you're complaining. Are you serious? 2 months is nothing. 2 months is a joke. Come back to me after 2 years of consistent effort and then we can talk about results. Until then, you haven't even started. You're still in the warm-up phase. The people who make it are the people who are willing to be patient. They're willing to put in the work for years without seeing any return. They trust the process. They trust that if they keep showing up, eventually it will pay off, and it always does. It might take longer than you want. It might be harder than you expected, but if you don't quit, it will happen. I've been grinding for years, and let me tell you what I've learned. The work never gets easier, but you get stronger. Year 1 was hard. Year 5 is still hard. The difference is I'm better at being hard. I'm better at pushing through. I'm better at showing up when I don't want to. I've built that muscle. I've developed that skill. And that only happens through years of consistency. You can't learn consistency from a book. You can't learn it from a video. You can't learn it from someone else. You have to live it. You have to go through the years of showing up. You have to experience the boredom and the doubt and the frustration. You have to push through all of it. And on the other side, you become a different person. You become someone who can be relied on. You become someone who finishes what they start. You become someone who doesn't need motivation to do what needs to be done. That's the real benefit of consistency. It's not just about achieving your goals. It's about who you become in the process. You become disciplined. You become resilient. You become unstoppable. Those qualities are worth more than any achievement. Those qualities will carry you through anything life throws at you. I look at successful people, and the one thing they all have in common is consistency. They all showed up for years. They all did the boring work. They all pushed through when they wanted to quit. That's the pattern. That's what separates the top 1% from everyone else. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not connections. It's consistency over years and years and years. If you want to outlast everyone, you need to understand something. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Most people treat it like a sprint. They go hard for a few months and burn out. They think intensity is the answer. Intensity is good, but consistency beats intensity every time. I'd rather see you work at 70% effort for 5 years than 100% effort for 5 months. The person working at 70% for 5 years is going to lap the person who burned out in 5 months. Pace yourself. This is going to take longer than you think. It's going to be harder than you think. It's going to require more of you than you think. Accept that now. Accept that you're signing up for years of work. Accept that you're not going to see results right away. Accept that most days are going to be boring and repetitive. Accept all of that and do it anyway. The biggest mistake people make is quitting right before the breakthrough. They work for 2 years and see nothing, so they quit. If they had just kept going for 3 more months, everything would have changed. But they didn't know that. They couldn't see that, so they quit right before the finish line. Don't be that person. Don't quit when you're so close. Keep going even when you can't see the end. I've had so many moments where I wanted to quit. So many days where I thought this isn't working. So many times where I questioned everything. But I didn't quit. I kept going. And every single time I pushed through one of those moments, things got better. Every single time. Not immediately, but eventually. The breakthrough always came after the hardest period. That's the test. Life is testing you to see if you really want it. Life is throwing every obstacle at you to see if you'll quit. Most people quit. They fail the test. They prove that they didn't really want it. But the people who pass the test, those are the people who make it. Those are the people who get everything they ever wanted. And the only way to pass the test is to refuse to quit. Consistency is not glamorous. Nobody is going to celebrate you for showing up on day 200. Nobody is going to give you a trophy for doing the work when you didn't feel like it. Nobody is going to recognize the sacrifice you made. But that's okay, because you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you. You're doing it because you made a commitment to yourself. You're doing it because you refuse to be average. Every day you have a choice. You can do the work, or you can make an excuse. Those are your only 2 options. And the choice you make today determines where you'll be in 5 years. If you do the work today and tomorrow and every day after that, you're going to be exactly where you want to be. If you make excuses today and tomorrow and every day after that, you're going to be exactly where you are right now. It's that simple. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for everything to line up. Just start. Start today and don't stop. Show up tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. String together days into weeks. String together weeks into months. String together months into years. Before you know it, you've been at it for 5 years and you're a completely different person. The compound effect is real. Small actions repeated over time create massive results. But most people never see the compound effect because they quit too early. They quit before their actions have time to compound. If you want to see the magic, you have to stick around long enough for it to happen. You have to be patient. You have to trust the process. I know it's hard. I know it feels like you're not making progress. I know it feels like you're wasting your time, but you're not. Every day you show up, you're making progress even if you can't see it. Every day you do the work, you're getting better even if you can't feel it. Trust that. Believe that. Keep going. The people watching you right now think you're crazy. They think you're wasting your time. They think you should quit and do something else. Let them think that. Let them doubt you. Their doubt means nothing. What matters is what you believe. What matters is whether you're willing to keep going when everyone else thinks you should stop. I've been called crazy so many times I lost count. People told me I was wasting my time. People told me I should give up. People told me I'd never make it. I didn't listen to any of them. I kept going, and now those same people ask me how I did it. The same people who told me to quit are now asking for advice. That's what happens when you outlast everyone. You outlast the doubters. You outlast the haters. You outlast the people who had more talent than you. You outlast everyone who started at the same time as you. You just keep going while everyone else stops. And eventually you're the only one left. That's how you win. You win by being the last one standing. Consistency is a superpower in a world full of quitters. Think about it. Most people can't stick with anything for more than a few months. If you can stick with something for years, you automatically put yourself in the top 1%. Just by showing up. Just by not quitting. That's all it takes. But most people can't do it. Most people don't have what it takes to be consistent for years. So if you can develop that ability, if you can become the person who shows up no matter what, you've basically won the game. You don't need to be the most talented. You don't need to be the most skilled. You just need to be the most consistent. Show me someone who's been doing the same thing every day for 5 years and I'll show you someone who's successful. It's that predictable. But here's the thing about consistency. You can't fake it. You can't pretend. You either do it or you don't. There's no middle ground. You can't be consistent for 3 days and then take 4 days off. That's not consistency. Consistency is every single day. No excuses. No days off. No breaks. Just the work. Day after day after day. I know that sounds extreme. I know that sounds intense. I know some people are going to say that's not healthy, but I'm not talking about working yourself to death. I'm talking about showing up. I'm talking about doing something every day that moves you forward. Even if it's small, even if it's just 20 minutes. The point is you do it every day. You make it non-negotiable. The days you don't feel like doing it, those are the most important days. Those are the days that build character. Those are the days that separate you from everyone else. Anyone can show up when they feel good. Anyone can do the work when they're motivated. But can you show up when you feel terrible? Can you do the work when you'd rather do anything else? That's the real test. I've done the work on days when I could barely function. I've done the work when I was sick. I've done the work when I was exhausted. I've done the work when I had every excuse not to. And those days made me who I am. Those days proved to me that I could rely on myself. Those days showed me that I'm not dependent on how I feel. I can show up regardless. That's freedom, when you're not controlled by your feelings, when you can do what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. Most people are slaves to their feelings. They only do things when they feel like it, so they're inconsistent. They're unreliable. They can't be counted on. Don't be that person. Be the person who shows up no matter what. Build your life around consistency. Make it the foundation of everything you do. When people ask you what your secret is, you can tell them it's consistency. When people ask you how you made it, you can tell them you just didn't quit. It's not sexy, it's not exciting, but it's the truth. The people who make it are the people who outlast everyone else. You know what's funny? The longer you're consistent, the easier it becomes. The first year is brutal. You're fighting yourself every single day. You're forcing yourself to show up. You're questioning everything. But if you make it through that first year, the second year is easier. Not easy, but easier. Your body adapts. Your mind adapts. It becomes part of who you are. By year 3, it's just what you do. You don't even think about it anymore. You don't need motivation. You don't need discipline. You just do it because that's who you are. That's the goal. To make it so automatic that you don't even have to think about it. But you only get there by pushing through the hard part. You only get there by being consistent when it's difficult. Most people never make it to year 3 because they quit in year 1. They quit when it's hard. They quit when they're still fighting themselves. They never get to experience what it's like when consistency becomes automatic. They never get to experience the compound effect. They never get to see what they're really capable of. And that's sad because they had it in them the whole time. You have it in you. You have the ability to be consistent. You have the ability to show up every day for years. You have the ability to outlast everyone. But do you believe that? Do you really believe that? Or are you going to quit when it gets hard? That's the question you need to answer. Not for me, for yourself. I'm telling you right now, if you commit to being consistent for the next 5 years, your life will be completely different. I don't care where you're starting from. I don't care what your situation is. If you show up every single day for 5 years and do the work, you will transform your life. That's a guarantee. But you have to actually do it. You can't just think about it. You can't just plan it. You have to live it. 5 years from now, you're going to be somewhere. You might be exactly where you are now. You might be worse off than you are now. Or you might be living the life you've always dreamed of. The only difference is what you do today and every day after today. That's it. Your future is being created right now by the choices you're making. So what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to be consistent? Are you going to choose to show up? Are you going to choose to do the work even when you don't feel like it? Or are you going to choose comfort? Are you going to choose excuses? Are you going to choose to be like everyone else? The choice is yours, but you need to understand that not choosing is also a choice. If you don't actively choose to be consistent, you're choosing to be average. Average is easy. Average is comfortable. Average doesn't require anything from you. You can be average by doing nothing. But if you want to be exceptional, you have to earn it. You have to work for it. You have to sacrifice for it. You have to be consistent for it. There's no other way. I see people trying to find shortcuts all the time. They want the results without the work. They want the success without the sacrifice. They want the destination without the journey. It doesn't work that way. You can't skip steps. You can't fast forward. You have to go through it. You have to earn it the hard way. And the hard way is being consistent for years. That's the price. That's what it costs. Years of your life. Years of showing up. Years of doing the work. Years of being patient. Years of trusting the process. If you're not willing to pay that price, then be honest with yourself and stop pretending you want it. Because if you really wanted it, you'd pay the price. You'd do whatever it takes. You'd be consistent no matter what. I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm trying to prepare you. I'm trying to tell you the truth that nobody else will tell you. This is going to be hard. This is going to take longer than you want. This is going to require more of you than you think. But if you stick with it, if you refuse to quit, you will make it. You will get everything you're working toward. But only if you outlast everyone else. Outlasting everyone doesn't mean being perfect. It doesn't mean never having a bad day. It doesn't mean never struggling. It means when you have a bad day, you come back the next day. It means when you struggle, you keep going. It means when you fail, you get back up. Consistency isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. You're going to mess up. You're going to have days where you fail. You're going to have days where you don't show up the way you wanted to. That's okay. What matters is what you do the next day. Do you let one bad day turn into 2 bad days? Do you let one bad day turn into a bad week? Or do you get right back on track? The people who make it are the people who get right back on track. One bad day doesn't ruin everything. One missed workout doesn't ruin your fitness. One bad meal doesn't ruin your diet. One unproductive day doesn't ruin your business. What ruins everything is when you let one bad day turn into multiple bad days. What ruins everything is when you use one mistake as an excuse to quit. Don't do that. Get back on track immediately. Consistency is about the long game. It's about what you do over months and years, not days and weeks. If you're consistent 95% of the time, you're going to be fine. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent enough that your actions compound over time. That's the goal. Not perfection, not intensity. Just steady, consistent effort over a long period of time. I've seen people try to go all in. They work 16 hours a day for 3 months and then they burn out and quit. That's not the answer. That's not sustainable. You need to find a pace you can maintain for years. Maybe that means working less hours. Maybe that means taking 1 day off a week. Maybe that means not pushing yourself to the absolute limit every single day. That's fine, as long as you're showing up consistently. Sustainability is key. You can't maintain something you hate. You can't maintain something that makes you miserable. So find a way to make it sustainable. Find a way to enjoy the process. Find a way to make it part of your life instead of making it your whole life. Because if you don't, you're going to burn out. And when you burn out, you quit. And when you quit, you lose. The goal is to still be doing this in 5 years. The goal is to still be showing up when everyone else has moved on to something else. The goal is to outlast everyone. And the only way to do that is to make it sustainable. So don't try to be a hero. Don't try to do more than you can handle. Just show up consistently and let time do the work. Time is your biggest advantage. The longer you stick with something, the better you get. The longer you're consistent, the more your actions compound. Time is on your side, but only if you don't quit. If you quit, then time doesn't matter. If you quit, then all the time you invested is wasted. Don't waste your time. Stay consistent and let time work in your favor. Every day you're consistent, you're making a deposit. Every day you show up, you're investing in your future. And just like compound interest, those deposits add up over time. But you have to keep making deposits. You have to keep showing up. You can't make deposits for 3 months and then stop and expect to see results. You have to keep going. You have to be patient. Patience is hard. Patience requires you to trust that what you're doing is working even when you can't see results. Patience requires you to believe that your efforts will pay off eventually. Patience requires you to keep going when everyone else is seeing results and you're not. But patience is what separates the people who make it from the people who don't. I know you want results now. I know you want to see progress immediately. I know you want proof that what you're doing is working. But that's not how it works. Results come later. Sometimes much later. You have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with working in the dark. You have to be okay with not seeing progress for months or even years. The people who make it are comfortable with delayed gratification. They're comfortable working towards something they can't see yet. They're comfortable investing time and energy into something that hasn't paid off yet. Most people aren't comfortable with that. Most people need immediate feedback. They need to see results right away or they quit. Don't be like most people. Be willing to work for years without seeing results. Be willing to invest everything you have into something that might not pay off for a long time. Be willing to be patient. Be willing to trust the process. Be willing to believe that if you keep showing up, eventually it will work out. Because it will. It always does. But only if you don't quit. The universe rewards consistency. I've seen it happen over and over again. People who show up every day for years eventually get rewarded. Maybe not in the way they expected. Maybe not on the timeline they wanted. But they get rewarded. Their consistency pays off. Their patience pays off. Their refusal to quit pays off. It always does. But you have to earn it. You have to put in the time. You have to do the work. You have to be consistent. There's no shortcut. There's no hack. There's no secret formula. There's just years of showing up and doing the work. That's it. That's the whole thing. And if you're willing to do that, you will make it. You will get everything you're working toward. But you have to be willing to outlast everyone. Outlasting everyone means being there when everyone else is gone. It means still showing up when everyone else has quit. It means still working when everyone else has moved on. It means being the last one standing. And when you're the last one standing, you win by default. You don't even have to be the best. You just have to be the one who didn't quit. That's the beauty of consistency. You don't need to be talented. You don't need to be lucky. You don't need to have connections. You just need to not quit. Just keep showing up and eventually you'll be the only one left. And when you're the only one left, all the opportunities come to you. All the success comes to you. All the rewards come to you. Because you earned it by outlasting everyone. So make a decision right now. Decide that you're going to be consistent. Decide that you're going to show up every day no matter what. Decide that you're not going to quit. Decide that you're going to outlast everyone. And then live that decision. Don't just think about it. Don't just talk about it. Live it. Show up tomorrow. Show up the day after that. Show up every single day for the next 5 years. 5 years from now, when you're living the life you always wanted, remember this moment. Remember when you decided to be consistent. Remember when you decided not to quit. Remember when you decided to outlast everyone. Because that decision changed everything. That decision made you who you are. That decision got you everything you have. But you have to make that decision today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month. Today, right now. Decide that you're all in. Decide that you're committed. Decide that nothing is going to stop you. And then prove it with your actions. Show up tomorrow. Do the work. Be consistent. Outlast everyone. The world needs more people who finish what they start. The world needs more people who are consistent. The world needs more people who don't quit. Be one of those people. Be the person who shows up. Be the person who does the work. Be the person who outlasts everyone. That's how you win. That's how you succeed. That's how you become exceptional. You're not going to regret being consistent. You're not going to regret showing up every day. You're not going to regret doing the work, but you will regret quitting. You will regret giving up. You will regret not giving yourself a real chance. Don't live with that regret. Don't be that person who looks back and wonders what could have been. Be the person who looks back and knows they gave it everything. Be the person who looks back and has no regrets. Be the person who looks back and is proud of what they accomplished. The only way to be that person is to be consistent. The only way to be that person is to not quit. The only way to be that person is to outlast everyone.